Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Noon News. I'm Samantha Sullivan. The House Oversight Committee is investigating red flags in the security clearance application process for top-level White House officials. Mola Langi reports from the White House.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The House Oversight Committee is voting on whether to issue subpoenas to investigate how White House officials, including President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, received top-level security clearances.
The White House needs to understand that they cannot stonewall and stall this committee for months.
Democrats want to hear testimony from Carl Klein, the former director of the Personnel Security Office, about reported irregularities in the White House's security clearance process. The investigation heated up after Tricia Newbold, a veteran security advisor at the White House, told lawmakers that clearances were denied for 25 officials, but later overturned.
She came forward because the system at the White House is so dysfunctional that she believes that Congress needs to intervene.
Republicans say the allegations by Newbold were overblown and cherry-picked.
You issue a big memo and a big press release after interviewing one witness. That's how we're going to do investigations in the Oversight Committee?
In a rare interview Monday night, Kushner said he's done everything by the book.
I've been accused of all different types of things, and all of those things have turned out to be false.
President Trump has denied any involvement in granting Kushner's security clearance. Mola Lengi, CBS News, the White House.
Klein has agreed to testify, but his lawyer says he will not talk about specifics regarding the security clearance process. Authorities in North Dakota still searching for a suspect after 4 people were found dead at a Mandan business on Monday. The victims were identified this morning. One, the owner of the property management company the bodies were found at. The other 3 were employees. The 3 men and 1 woman were found dead early Monday morning after they failed to show up for a meeting. Police say they believe the crime was specific to the victims and say there is no danger to the public. No arrests have been made. In Missoula, emergency officials responded to reports of a river rescue near the California Street footbridge on Monday night. Missoula Fire Battalion Chief David Walter tells us one man was pulled out of the Clark Fork River and taken to the hospital around 8:30 last night. Initial reports indicated there might have been a second person in the river. However, Life Flight was unable to locate a second person with infrared flyover, and the search was eventually terminated. Law enforcement officials tell us the possible second victim could have left the water on their own without notifying authorities. Also in Missoula, a paraglider is in stable condition in a hospital this afternoon after crashing near the top of the south peak of Mount Sentinel. Crews responded to the scene around 2 o'clock Monday afternoon. Missoula Fire Department Battalion Chief Dave Walter says the patient was located near the top of the mountain in a timbered ravine. Life Flight was dispatched because of the remote location. They were able to transport the patient by helicopter to a local hospital. In Great Falls, 2 men are charged in connection with a weekend attack. 20-year-old Daniel Gregory has been charged with 4 felony counts of assault with a weapon. 28-year-old Tyler Hinson faces 2 felony charges for criminal endangerment, but was not booked into jail. According to court documents, Hinson was outside of a home on 2nd Avenue South with 3 other people. Gregory stopped, got out of his vehicle, and started arguing with Hinson and another man. Documents state Gregory had a machete during that argument. Another person got in between the people arguing, and Gregory hit him over the head with that machete. Hinson then got a pistol from his vehicle, which caused Gregory to start driving away. Court documents state Hinson shot at Gregory's vehicle, and the vehicle was struck several times. A bullet also hit a passenger. Well, weekend vandalism is bringing the Libby community together while police work to catch those who trashed the loggers' concession stand. Libby police were sent out to investigate a reported break-in and vandalism at the baseball field. Numerous items were damaged or destroyed, with the total loss amount estimated to be in the thousands. Libby Police Chief Scott Kessel released a statement saying the investigation has identified several juvenile suspects. Kessel thanked the community for numerous tips provided to their office. And now we'll turn things over to Ed in the Weather Center. Ed, April started out nice, but it may not stay that way.
Well, we're going to build up the temperatures and we're really going to see some spring weather move in, Sammy. Let's take a look. Looking into next week, the overall trend nationally looks fairly wet. In fact, we're leaning towards wetter than average conditions with the exception of some areas into the desert southwest. And that's going to include Montana and northern Wyoming. Perhaps a slightly better chance of showers in western Montana, but below average temperatures to go with that chance of rain and snow showers as well, and leading at above average temperatures through the Dakotas and most of the rest of the country. So again, we're going to kind of be the exception for the rule as we look into the western portion of the country. Take a closer look at our short-term forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Ed. From the 66th session, a proposal to expand state funding of preschool programs has missed an important deadline in the Montana legislature. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian takes a closer look at what could come next for the preschool issue.
The future of public funding for preschool in Montana is now uncertain after a major proposal to increase the state's contribution failed in a House committee last week. House Bill 755, sponsored by Republican Representative Eric Moore of Miles City, would have provided $11 million for public, private, and Head Start preschool programs. It would also have created a cabinet-level director of early childhood. On Wednesday, immediately after the bill had its first hearing, 7 Republicans and 2 Democrats on the House Education Committee voted it down. HB 755 was far different from Governor Steve Bullock's original plan to fund preschool, but he supported it as a path to make preschool funding permanent.
Representative Moore's bill was a good faith effort to try to say, how do we do this in the best way for our state, but most importantly for the kids that will be entering into our school system when they turn 5 years old. So it is really unfortunate that that bill was tabled in the House Education Committee.
HB 755 had drawn opposition from public education advocates like the Montana School Boards Association and the Montana Federation of Public Employees.
And I think the legislature has noted that this is the public education community opposed to this very bad idea. And I believe that has made all the difference right now where we are.
The groups criticized the inclusion of funding for private providers. MFP President Eric Fever said their stance had been mischaracterized as opposition to preschool.
We favor pre-K education, we just are not in favor of privatizing it.
HB 755 failed to pass the House by a Monday deadline, so it is likely dead. But some form of preschool funding could still be amended into the budget before the end of the legislative session. In 2017, a late negotiation led to the creation of the STARS preschool pilot program, which provided some state funding for preschool. Bullock said he hopes lawmakers will look at the results of that program,
where they've seen what a difference it makes. So certainly hopeful that we don't take steps back from where we were last time.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Jonathan tells us the failure of HB 755 means uncertainty for current preschool programs receiving support from that STARS pilot program. Local school leaders have said without state funding, they'll likely have to greatly reduce or eliminate their preschool offerings. Well, the first ever Montana Homeless Conference is happening this week in Helena. Those attending include government officials, healthcare workers, and tribal representatives. More than 150 people attended that conference. They hope to connect service providers across the state to discuss homelessness in Montana. Some of the topics include getting people who are homeless into housing, community-based planning initiatives, and educating homeless children. Organizers said the event is a good way to bridge best practices and show that homeless has many faces in Montana. It's estimated that nearly 1,400 people in Montana are currently homeless. Well, coming up here on the noon news, Montana Highway Patrol troopers warning of driving dangers as the roads start to dry out for the year. Their plea to drivers when we come back. But first, Ed will join us with a look at the statewide forecast. We're back in just a minute.
Watching MTN News with Samantha Sullivan, Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and Farm and Ranch News from the Montana Ag Network. This is the noon news on Q2, Montana's news leader.